Dysentery, the diarrhea-inducing bacterial infection, on the rise in Oregon. I've been training for this since 1987. Welcome back to the show. I'm your host, Akorn, and today is Friday, which means it's time for Gen X and Millennial memes, where we finally remember all the things we didn't even know we forgot about. If you like this series and want to help support the channel, please watch this video to the end. Hit that like and subscribe, and share this video with your family, friends, and social media. We have some good memes and memories today. But first, school is now in session, and here's today's pop quiz. What was the first album to be released on CD? We'll have the answer later on in today's show. I hope you guys have a super March the 10th, which is Monday. Rod Stewart's transformation into Lady Elaine Fairchild is almost complete. That's actually a pretty good comparison. I'm sure most all of you have heard about Gene Hackman and his wife passing away recently. He was a good actor in a lot of different roles, but one of the most iconic roles that he's remembered for is Lex Luthor, playing opposite to Christopher Reeve. Forget your zodiac signs. What piece are you picking? Usually the battleship. Unless that was taken, then I'd probably take the car. My answer whenever someone asks me how old I am. I was once on the telephone with Blockbuster Video. Used to be able to pull out my Blockbuster card until I finally lost it somewhere. When your mom tells you not to touch anything in the store. In high school, I was so excited to become a senior. I'm not too excited now. I'm thinking about purchasing a Verco 3700 BRM desk so I can finally get some decent sleep. Yeah, I seriously doubt that I could fall asleep at a desk these days. And if I did, my back, neck, and my legs would probably hurt me trying to get up. Snowman for sale. Needs repairs. $25. Thankfully, guys, we're getting toward the end of snowman season. I'll be glad when warm weather gets here, except for all the bugs. I am not looking forward to their return. In the 80s, a medical alert company aired a series of commercials depicting the elderly using their device to call for help. One of the women said, "I've fallen and I can't get up." And an entire generation decided, yes, this is the comedy catchphrase for us. Now, many of us just hope we never need such a device. Men in 1973. Men in 2025. My uncle with 3 felonies has been pretty sad lately, so I remodeled his room so he can feel at home again. Now this is the kind of practical jokes that our generations would actually go to the lengths to do. My senior picture. That was probably true for most people back in those days. When I was 14, I was sneaking out of the house doing sketchy things with even sketchier people. My 14-year-old son makes me watch him take the trash out at night because it's dark outside. Well, I can't completely blame him. The things that people are doing these days is just getting worse all the time. And it seems like with every day that passes, that they care less and less about being seen committing crimes right in broad daylight. I'm so glad I grew up doing this and not this. Remember when the FBI threatened you before every VHS tape? Yeah, and for some reason, it was always on the copies that we made too. Never Stop Dreaming, Freddy Krueger. You can only rent 3. Part 2. Out of the ones listed here, I'd probably rent Beverly Hills Cop, Christine, and I guess I'd have to go with the one sequel that I must have missed, because I never heard of Indiana Jones and the Infernal Machine. I actually looked into it, and apparently that was a video game that came out in '99. This was a scene that was filmed in the original Goonies movie, but was later deleted. Yeah, McDonald's is certainly one of the things that hasn't aged well. Things that 9-year-old me thought were everyday dangers. The Bermuda Triangle, falling anvils, black holes, quicksand, piranhas. Well, it's because that we were trained and prepared for these things. That's why we never got caught by them. When people try talking to you right after you wake up. I saw this when I was in Walmart the other day. They're bringing back the Growing Rocks or Crystal kit. Fidget spinner, 1980s edition. Yeah, and all the previous decades before that too. We failed as a society when we stopped using carpets like these in public spaces. How many of you guys have drank sun tea? I remember my dad talking about how they made it back when he lived on the farm as a kid. Mopar burnout. Tesla burnout. This comment describes Gen Z perfectly. If the apocalypse happened, I would just pass away. Why do people in movies always have so much will to live? Well, I guess they've already decided. Would you take the red pill or the blue pill? They're all good cartoons, but if I had to choose one side or the other, I think I'd have to go with the red pill. This is how we stole memes back in my day. Yep, certainly is. The only thing was you had to do it right the first time, because every time you used the silly putty, the ink on the paper got lighter and lighter. Time to settle the most important summer debate. Which one is correct? I would accept 5 or 6 as the correct answer, but 6 is what I prefer. How about you guys? How do you guys like your marshmallows? I used to run home from school to watch this. Today, I heard a girl ask her dad why people say, hang up the phone. And just think, guys, there's a lot of things that's being lost in translation just from the past 30 or 40 years ago. Now, just take that same concept and go back 100 years, or a few centuries, or millennia, and just imagine how much more that all compounds. Today's pop quiz question was, what was the first album to be released on CD? The answer is 52nd Street by Billy Joel. When you can't stand people, but you love animals. I actually saw a video of some guy that broke into someone's house, and after he got inside, he found that they had a big dog. Unfortunately, the dog was just happy to get petted on. I'm gonna tell my kids these wires went to the fridge for the ketchup, mayonnaise, and mustard dispenser. Kids today are learning emotional intelligence from Inside Out, while we got Bambi's mom getting shot, Mufasa's unaliving, Cinderella enslaved, and Snow White's stepmom trying to unalive her. Yeah, and there's probably a lot more you could add to this list. You can only bring back one. Well, I'd say a lot of people will go for the apartment, and a good number of people will choose cheap gas. However, I think I'd prefer to be able to buy a decent used car for $1,000 again. The official sports drink when I was a kid. Wolverine. What's the most interesting 80s movie car? I'd have to go with The Time Machine or Christine. A lot of other good choices too, though. Are you an 80s kid? Do you have any previous experience in retail? Your childhood was awesome if you recognize these places. If you know what this is, you're a true 80s movie buff. Life after 40. You can't remember where you parked, but you can remember all the lyrics to 80s hits. I can't remember a lot of those either, unless I'm actually listening to the song. Them. The taxes aren't even that high. The taxes. If you know what this is, your childhood was awesome. Everyone was scared of Michael, Freddy, and Jason as a kid, but this guy right here scared me more than all three combined. I ain't ever eating an edible again. I just watched a 2-hour movie on mute and started crying because I thought I was deaf. You better start slow with them edibles. There's a pretty long delay. They'll sneak up on you. Welcome to the Gen X playground. In case of injury, stop crying. Blow on it. You're fine. Walk it off. No one cares. My mind still thinks I'm 25. My body thinks my mind is an idiot. If you had one of these, you rocked. Millennials trying to send a text without adding LOL at the end. Is this true, millennials? Let the rest of us know down in the comments. You know you're old school if you've ever eaten this. If you know who this is, you had an awesome childhood. How many of you remember the issue in real life, or at least some said it was a real problem, with Big Bird being the only one who could see Snuffleupagus, which this later became the reason for his reveal to all the other Sesame Street Muppets. It finally all makes sense. Almost every grandma had these magnets on their refrigerator. Fact check true. Do you remember these? Yes, I do. I actually had one. I think I got it as a gift. Realtor. 38 people have unalived in this house, and it's haunted. Horror movie families. The Good Old Days. Picture from 1986. If you know what this is, you're officially old school. You either love Ghostbusters or you're wrong. Clubbing in your 20s. Clubbing in your 40s plus. I'll never go to Costco again just because all the DEI garbage that they're still pushing. I would never wish this on my worst enemy. Worst enemy? Wish a lot more than that. Still better than cats. This is one that I don't think I remember. I think we all had this wood grain masterpiece in the 90s. And I'll end the video with this. People never remember the million times you've helped them. They only remember the times that you didn't. Sadly, it's very true. I want to thank all of you who watched this video to the end, as it really helps to support the channel. If you like this series and want to see more, then please share these videos with your family and friends. Consider hitting that like button, and if you haven't already, smash subscribe and click that bell so you'll never forget another episode. I sincerely appreciate every one of you who submit content to be considered here on the channel. If you would like to submit memes, links, news, or anything else, you can send it to akornzstash@gmail.com. This link can also be found down below in the video description. Before we end today's show, I just had a quick update on our merch store. Some of you may have noticed in recent episodes that we haven't showed any of the items available in our merch store. Also, the preview of our merch store items is no longer shown directly below the video. This is because I've received several emails and a few comments from people who have been waiting on their orders for extended periods of time, which I'm sorry to say spans from several weeks to even a couple of months. It's ridiculous that it's come to this, as that company is one of YouTube's merch service partners, which was one of the main reasons that I went with them to begin with. But with the issues that some of you have had, I made the decision to drop that company from hosting the Akornz Stash merch store. If any of you have orders that you haven't received in over 3 weeks, I'd suggest that you contact the company and tell them to cancel your order and give you a refund. If you don't hear from them, send me an email with your order number and I'll try to see what I can find out. With all that said, I have been researching and considering a few other companies who have become popular and have a good reputation, and hopefully we can get our merch store set back up soon. I'll post updates about this in future shows. With that said, remember to catch the episode tomorrow from our second channel, but I'll see you guys back here on this channel for Sunday's show. I thank you all for watching. You guys take care and stay safe this weekend. This is Akorn, over and out.